Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan Lugo. Thank you so much for tuning in here on Tuesday, November 21st. Today we are looking at the Jaguars' defense and special teams standouts against the Titans. A really big win for the Jaguars in the AFC South against their arch rivals, bitter arch rivals, the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, the Titans not having the season that their fans expected, but the Jaguars, they took care of business at home in front of their hometown fans for one of the only times this year, right? The Jaguars are now 2-3 at home. They were 1-3 entering the contest. The offense got the job done in a big way. So did the defense and special teams in this one. We're going to look at it. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can also check out genjag.com/shop. Pick up some new Duval gear. All right, so Will Levis, 143 passer rating, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. What happened to the Jaguars defense? Well, they dominated. That's what happened. 49 of Will Levis's 158 passing yards came on one play late in the game. It was a trick play, and it was when the contest had already been secured by a long shot by the Jaguars, right? So Will Levis, yeah, he completed most of his passes, but only attempted 17 passes. The Titans, they only had 39 offensive snaps. That is hilarious. 39 offensive snaps in the NFL. I can't remember a snap count that low. I really cannot. Derrick Henry did basically nothing for them. Again, outside of that 58-yard throw or 49-yard throw down the field by Will Levis, the Titans offense barely did anything. Will Levis barely did anything. Yeah, he completed some passes short. Wasn't picking up first downs, wasn't moving the ball. The Jaguars defense had a masterful game in this one despite giving up 14 points. Again, 14 points late in the game. Devin Lloyd earned his highest PFF grade of his career. He is a monster and was a monster against the run in this game, and in coverage he was really good. He was where he needed to be on just about every single play, and he is playing like the player we thought we were getting in the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft. This was a guy who I had a top 10 grade on that year. I thought he was an easy early first-round pick, early to mid-first-round pick that year. He slid down to 27. Jaguars went back into the first round and nabbed him up, brought him into Jacksonville. He was fired up about it. Y'all will all remember that Duval he let out draft day. But Devin Lloyd wasn't perfect for him rookie year, obviously. Had dealt with the hamstring injury throughout training camp. He is playing exactly how you would hope he would play as a first-round pick, as a guy you traded up for to get. And I think the Jaguars, they just have they have a really good linebacker duo in Devin Lloyd and Foye Oluokun. And speaking of Foye Oluokun, he had a sack. This is the second straight week where he's getting in the backfield on these blitzes. Few tackles, near interception. He was so damn good for the Jags, and he has been all year. I mean, this is a guy over the last 2 seasons. It's hard to say that there is, without question, a more valuable defensive player for the Jaguars over the last 2 years. I think you can definitely argue Josh Allen. Tyson Campbell certainly was last year, but he hasn't been available as much this year. I think right now Josh Allen is the Jaguars' best defender, but Foye is right there. And Josh Allen, he was wrecking shop as well. 4 pressures and half a sack on only 14 pass rush snaps. He was getting the job done. And this Titans offensive line, they're injured. Even when they're not injured, they haven't been playing well. Josh Allen did what he needed to do in this game in a big way. And so did Trayvon Walker. He was super stout against the run. He had a pressure of his own. I thought he did a good job for the Jaguars defensive front. And the whole defense really kicked ass for the Jaguars. I think there's no question about that. Roy Robertson-Harris, Foley Fatukasi, Angelo Blackson, they were super stout in the middle. You saw Roy Robertson-Harris getting some penetration, obviously. Buster Brown, he gave up a play late in the game, but he was good, played very physical, got his hands on the football, almost got an interception. I think that this is a guy who, entering the season, if you had told me the Jaguars were going to have to rely on Buster Brown as much as they have, I'd been a little nervous about that, but he's done a good job so far. Obviously, he hasn't been tasked with stopping the most efficient or explosive passing offenses as of yet, and hopefully he won't be tasked with that because you'll get Tyson Campbell back soon. But kudos to Buster Brown for playing good football when he's been called upon for the most part. Darius Williams was locked down as he generally has been this year. Standout performance for the whole defense. Mike Caldwell deserves so much credit for this defensive performance. The way he is marrying his pressures and his coverage looks has been stellar this year for the Jaguars on the back end. Every single player for the Jaguars defense right now is playing better than they did last year. that's a credit to these players. That's a credit to Mike Caldwell. It's a credit to the position coaches. I think it's just been awesome on that side of the ball for the Jaguars this year. And again, Titans, not a big test this year, but it was a team that you have struggled with in the past at times. It was a team that is your arch rival, and you went out and you dominated them. I think that's huge. Special teams-wise, I mean, Ross Matisic is the man, right? He is a great, great long snapper, obviously consistent with the snaps, but his ability to get down there and cover these punts and, force a fumble, amazing stuff for Ross Matisic. They tried to give him to do a speech in the locker room post-game. He wasn't having it. Not used to being the center of attention is the Jaguars long snapper, but good performance from him, and he's been awesome for them ever since he got here. Brandon McManus scored 10 points for the Jags, 2 field goals, 4 extra points. He's been so money for them this year. What a great signing that he was. Logan Cook was not very busy, but he did average 50 yards on 2 punts, so he was out there doing his thing as well. Special performance for the Jaguars against a bad Titans team, but it was a performance they needed, right? Again, they needed a home win for their fans. They needed a bounce back after what happened in Week 10 against the 49ers, again, in front of their hometown fans. And they needed to keep winning so that they could stay atop the division. And now they're going to have a date with the Houston Texans this weekend that will determine who is in first place in the AFC South. And right now, if the playoffs started today, the Jaguars would be the 3 seed hosting the Houston Texans in Jacksonville. What a way that would be for the playoffs to kick off for the Jaguars. But a lot of games to play between now and the start of the playoffs, and we'll see how it all plays out. Obviously, got to take care of business in Houston this upcoming weekend. We'll look forward to that and preview that game throughout the rest of the week. But I really appreciate y'all tuning in. Hit me up on Twitter at Jordan DeLugo. Follow Generation Jaguar at Generation Jag. Hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Notification bell so you don't miss a show. And again, you can check out genjag.com/shop. Pick up some new Duval gear. Y'all have a good one.